Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to WCFL Talks. And we have nothing but good things to talk about today. You know it, you know it, you know it. Um, just remember when you're here, just please hit the subscribe and like button. We appreciate each and every one of you, and it's a wonderful Victory Monday in the U.S., in the world. It's a happy Victory Dolphins Monday. Let me go ahead and bring on our co-host we have this afternoon, Mr. Dolphin Winters himself. What's up, my brother?
Good afternoon. Peace, love, thumbs up to everybody. Happy 9. Everybody in Dolphin Nation should be feeling great. Because guess what? Our quarterback, Mr. Tua, wasn't he perfect yesterday? I think he was perfect, wasn't he?
Pretty much perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we got Chef Jew and Liz out there in the audience right now. And let's bring on the queen, Miss Pamela.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Wow. I would say he was pretty much perfect. That was, yes. Good take, Dolphin Winners. Good take.
You know,
I'm so happy. It's almost like a dream, right? Oh, that's right. I've had this dream for a while.
For 22 plus years, I think we've had this dream.
Yes.
I mean, first time in 22 years to be 9-3. That's the first thing. You know, it's a wonderful thing. And I mean, it's not over with. It's not over with. There's still 6 more games to go. 6 more games. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be something else. It's as long as things keep going our way. We started off the month of December the right way. Unlike the Jets and the Patriots, who did not win a single game in November.
Right.
Right.
And the Patriots are starting off December that way too. You know, it's nice to see, not worry or even think about them in division or the playoffs or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Van Ginkel was totally balling it out yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Unfreaking real.
So close from having like the complete game. Because if he would have blocked the fucking punt, I think that would have been the fucking complete game for a defensive player.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he had the
agree.
trifecta, right? But he almost had the quadfecta.
He was this close to having the quadfecta.
I know.
I was like, oh my God.
And, you know, like one of the articles I read, it was I forget who it was, but they gave a sack to Sealer and someone else instead of Van Ginkel.
Oh.
And it was just something though. He balled out. Liz, what's up,
Hey,
Shake, my brother?
That damn shit money.
Oh, I think we still got Wilkins trade value up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's more like the Wilkins pay value.
Pay value. Thank you. Pay the man. That's right. And I mean, I want you to think about how many defensive players' names we didn't hear that much yesterday. And that's not a bad thing. That just means that entire unit was working as a unit and we were just effective all over the field. I had some people in my stream yesterday. We came up with a term for Andrew Van Ginkel and what he does to people. They've been AVG'd.
They've been AVG'd. That's right. That spin move to get that sack. I mean, it was like perfect timing, everything.
Let's think about this, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't hear Ramsey's name because they didn't throw his way. If they did, it was either an incomplete pass or it just didn't happen. X got tested a couple times yesterday, and he sat there and stopped a major play for us in the end zone.
Yeah.
The only good touchdown that they got off of us was the play when they caught Baker off the and let's send our prayers out to Jerome Baker. The play that he got, it was a friendly fire hit by Jones, trying to make a play at the if I'm correct, at the 1 yard line. when the guy caught the ball and caught Baker, you know, and it was a good play by Washington. You got to give him credit for this. Caught Baker off guard. Baker was running down the play, and Jones came across the field.
Yeah.
And his leads took out Baker and took out his.
But from information I've seen or heard from other people is that McDaniel said that Baker and Robert
Jones.
No.
Yeah.
Our offensive
Hunt.
Yeah. They're both okay.
Yes.
They're both okay. It's nothing serious. And if you didn't see it, Pam, Shake agrees with you.
Yes.
Trade the man. and Miss Liz, it's not too soon to say the Patriots are not going to make the playoffs. They're 2-9.
Yeah.
They're not making the playoffs. No. Anything can happen with the Jets and Bartholomew, but it's a little too soon for them to make the playoffs, but not quite.
Right.
You know,
what I'll say, guys, is this. Did anybody on this panel expect us to whoop Washington the way they did?
My prediction was actually yes and no. I mean, I had some worries, but my prediction was 35-13.
Yeah, you was right there.
You know, it was 45-15, so I wasn't too. There was someone who said, I forget who it was. I think someone said 42-10.
Yeah, somebody did say 42-10. I know I said 27-12, and I wanted to keep them out the end zone, which that didn't happen. But
we kept them out the end zone.
Yeah. I mean, we did, but they got the 2 touchdowns. I mean, the way I look at it is this: defense has balled out the last 4 weeks. They have kept opponents under under 17.
13.
Liz had said it was 45-20, so she was right there at it.
Right. So
one thing, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Dolphin Winners.
So our defense has been really sitting there showing and proving. And what I liked yesterday, even the fact when Jerome Baker went out, Duke Riley came in, and it was like it wasn't even a drop off at all. It was still.
You know what? I think Duke Riley is really pumped up about the Pro Bowl votes for special teams and stuff.
As he should.
So, yes, and I love the man. I really do love Duke, not only because of his play on the field, but his play off the field.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing the pictures and videos of him and his kids, which when I talked to him at training camp, he said his kids are his world, which I love to see and love to hear that. And I would love to be able to get Duke on our show someday. Maybe we will.
Yeah. And we definitely got a shout out, not to cut you off. We got a shout out Nick Needham being on the field yesterday as well.
Well, you know I love Nick Needham. You know I love Nick Needham. I love Nick Needham's mom. Right. She is wonderful. Shout out to Jesse Johnson out there watching us there. Remember to hit like on the YouTube people and
share. Definitely share.
Yeah, share. We're only 3 people away from having 100 subscribers, which we're only a 6-month-old, not quite 7-month-old show. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, we're doing well.
Doing very well.
Jesse Johnson, that was my prediction too. I said 14-3 before the season started, so I'm right with you.
Well, I said 12-5, and you know, our worst case scenario would be 11-6 at this point. That's our worst case
I
scenario.
split the difference with you guys. I was 13-4. At this point, I honestly believe we're capable of not losing again. In fact, I know we're capable of not losing again. The one thing I think, it's not even Baltimore for me. It's more Dallas, but not so much because I think they're better than us, because I don't think they are. I think our defense is more opportunistic. And that's what I think happened to Washington yesterday. That's why I didn't think Washington was going to get. I actually didn't think they'd get as many points as they did get. I was surprised that they got that, just because the defense is just so amazing. But that kid, you got to give that kid Howell some props, because he is a good quarterback. I've had him in my fantasy league for a large portion of the year, and he's gotten a lot of points, more than some of the so-called top quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And even he got in my fantasy league. I was playing against the guy. By the way, nobody from Washington played on my team, my fantasy league yesterday. I traded everybody. I ain't doing that. Not even to win the fantasy league. I'm not doing it. But I had a guy that was playing against me, and he had Tua as his quarterback. And of course, Howell got more points in that fantasy league than Tua. But everybody needs to remember, Tua played 3 quarters.
Yep.
3 quarters. So an entire, fourth less, or 25% less of a game. So I'm so proud of how this team played.
UPS here.
Okay.
Yeah. Dogs are the alarm bells.
Oh yeah, you already know. They're like, hey, who that?
That's right. Exactly.
Pam, we can't forget about one of the unsung heroes of this game, and we got to welcome back Mr. Etienne himself.
Oh, man.
And 2 touchdowns, 103 yards, and that run that was a tackle, and it wasn't a tackle, and he had an additional 10 to 12 yards on it. That was one of the key plays of the game. Like, he literally, I'm going to just say this. Etienne is stronger than what I think he is. I was like, wow. I was kind of yesterday. I really was like, wow, because I was like, this man shook off a tackle. He was bona fide tackle, and it just seemed like he just shrugged him off and went on about his business. I was like, he's a little stronger than what I expected him to be. I was like, wow. I was really impressed with his running yesterday. He took his time, and I love the fact that he took some big hits and he got right back up.
And when you think about it, people have made some comments about his size, that he's not going to be that power guy and all this kind of stuff. And also, don't discount the part about him not having played,
right,
in a while. So you look at him going out there and playing like that. And I'll tell you what my husband said about him last night. He said, you think you're fixing to get the guy down, but you don't. And then you think you're going to get him down again, and you don't. And he just keeps going and going, kind of what you were saying, Saul. Yeah. So, I mean, it is so exciting to see this.
Hooked Up Joe, if you've seen before A-Chain got injured the first time, he was getting more carries as the games went on than Mostert.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to see A-Chain back. Appreciate you guys. John, brother John O'Hanlon out there watching.
Hey, John.
Go. Shake money. Dog is mad because we didn't trade Wilkins. I don't think so. Yeah. Shake. You know what? You got some good ones, Shake, and I love you for that because you're always a comedian. Always.
He's the spoon, Papa Paul. We all saw it. It's official. He is the first winner of the Big Spoon Award. It is official. And it happened at your house.
You know what, Bowleg, you say Washington was less of a team, but you know what? They did beat the Eagles once.
Yeah, and also they
made it real close to the second time.
They beat Philly. Didn't beat Philly. Sorry, let me rephrase that. They took Philly to overtime, and Philly won with a field goal. And the game before, when they played Philly won by a touchdown. So that narrative does not wash. It doesn't wash. These are NFL teams.
And plus, Bowleg, I like to say that divisional games are so much different when inter-conference or out-of-conference games. They're completely different. Philly and Washington plays Philly crazy like that all the time. It would be the same thing if, like, us playing against the Patriots or the Bills. It's a conference. It's a divisional game. It's going to be completely different. Yeah. Different games, different teams, different outcomes. So I respect what he says, but listen, we went out there and we did exactly what we were supposed to do. That's not our fault.
Let's put it this way.
It's our fault that they fired Del Rio the week before. It is not our fault that they traded Sweat and Young. It is not our fault that they did what they had to do in their team and their official, all their stuff. We, the Miami Dolphins, did what we were supposed to do on Sunday. Real
quick, we need to give a shout out and love to our brother Danny Johnson. How you doing, brother, out there? Yes, we are number one in the AFC. I hope you're feeling well.
Yes.
I hope everything's going well for you. Our prayers are with you, brother. It's a good day. It's a wonderful week to be a Dolphins fan.
Absolutely.
And to go along with what Winters was saying about how we played them, we sat our starters in the fourth quarter. I mean,
but I want to reiterate, you talk about we're only beating losing teams. Well, how many teams have lost to losing teams?
Mm-hmm.
Not us.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That is a huge point, Papa Paul. That is a huge point. Yes.
I mean, you look how many of these winning teams that have lost to the losing teams that we have beaten. Not us.
Not us.
And I want to look at something which I was really surprised at. I thought he had a lot more yardage, but Tyreek Hill had 138 yards in 2 plays. 2. He only ended up with 157 yards, but he only had 5 receptions. But in those last 5, that means he only got 15 yards or 19 yards in those last 3 receptions.
So at one point of the game, Paul, he had 3 receptions for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns.
No, he had 2 receptions for 138 yards.
That's what I'm saying. So he had 3 receptions, 132 and 2 touchdowns at one point.
142. 142. Because he had 138 and 2 yards.
Right.
2 receptions, I mean.
142, and then it was 158 complete.
157 complete.
All right.
I think he had 4 yards on a rush as well. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, you said that
161 yards.
Yeah.
Total.
Yeah.
But look how much we spread the ball around as well. And that was a very important thing to do.
He had 152 yards in the first half is what Hooked Up Joe was saying.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
And the thing was, Mostert tied Ricky Williams' record.
Yes, he
with
did.
14 touchdowns in a season. I think he's going to beat that record.
Oh yeah.
I think he's going to. He was following Coach up and down the sideline, wanting to get back in there.
Yes, I saw that too. Yes.
And Achane scored 2 touchdowns. Mostert wants to demolish Ricky Williams' record, which I love, because there was a lot. Mostert, this is his best season ever in his career, and I love it. I love it, especially that we have.
Well, and I really put a lot of that on our coaches, right?
Yeah, real quick. I got to give a shout out to Shake on this one.
Shake.
We did. We lost to Buffalo, so we did lose to a trash team.
And once again, like you were saying, Dolphin winners, that's a divisional game. It anything goes in something like that. I don't think it matters as much, who's the better team, because it's all bets are off when it comes to something like that.
You think about it. We just seen it this past Thanksgiving with the Packers and Lions. The Lions lead their division. The Packers went in there and smacked them in the mouth in their home. So like any given when it comes to divisional matchups, it's so different.
I am the realist. In any given Sunday, you can have the worst team beat the best team in NFL.
Yep.
Yep.
You know what? It's just like I was saying, because we got to look out for the Jets coming up. We got to look out for Buffalo when we play them at home, and because they want to be spoiler makers at this point.
Let's say this, Papa Paul. Let's back up and let's start talking about Monday, because we do face the Tennessee
Titans. Yes.
Even the fact that we have Henry on, maybe that's going to be on concussion protocol.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
You still got to worry about DeAndre Hopkins. You still got to worry about that man.
I'm not arguing with you.
Still an NFL team. Yep.
It's still NFL team.
It's any of these teams at this point. This is the most crucial time of the year, because you have the teams that are like the Patriots that are 2-9. They're going to want to be a spoiler maker to some of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times, and we should know that well, because how many times have we been a spoiler maker to the Patriots and other teams?
Yep. And I'll tell you one of the things that's so important that we did yesterday.
Yes, John, I agree with that. Go ahead, Miss Pam.
Go ahead. I missed this comment.
His comment was just you build your team to win your division, then hope it's good enough against others in the playoffs.
Yes.
That's 100% correct.
Correct.
But one of the things that made yesterday's game so important is that we know that if we want to go deep into the playoffs and further, we have to be deep with some depth, and allowing other players to go out there and get some of that win and go out there and show their talent, hone their skills. That was hugely important.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It's been true in the past. Great defenses do help win the big game.
Oh yeah.
And our defense has gotten better every game this year. And yesterday, to start the game off like we did, it was incredible. I was at my watch party. I'm sitting there when it was 24-7. I said, I want one more score before the half. And then we turned the ball over. We turned the ball over to Washington, and then that pick six.
Yes.
I said we were going to have another score before the half, and there it was.
There it was.
Whoever had the Miami Dolphins defense in their fantasy football got a lot of points.
Yes.
They
I did, and I've had them all season. And it, even, the beginning, they were getting way more than what they were predicted to do. Now, I'm telling you, the Dolphins defense has won me several weeks in fantasy. Last week, this week, incredible points.
Hooked Up Joe, I agree 100% with this. Hill and Waddle both had 5 catches, with Waddle getting an extra attempt. There were 10 catches by the top 2 wide receivers and 9 catches by others. That is good distribution regardless of yardage difference. That is
100% hooked up.
100%, yes.
And the running the ball. We passed it around a few different players there as well. Wilson Jr. in there getting the ball. I mean, this is so important.
It's very important for our backups and our depth to get play time in order to develop. But I will agree with what was said last night. Cam Smith should have been in there on the defense playing the position we drafted him for, so he gets some knowledge of the position in our defensive scheme.
And that may happen in the next week. That may happen Monday night as well.
But there was no reason why it shouldn't have happened yesterday.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
He was a second round draft pick. We draft picked him in the second round for a reason.
Well, here's the reason. I'm going to say this to you, Paul, and I'll be devil's advocate. So my on that take is, if something might be that's not being disclosed to us as in the public, it might be something going on with him where they might be saving him and let him be a sponge first. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I had a conversation with somebody about that yesterday, about people having giving them that time, even though that we as fans want to see them on the field. Maybe let him sit there, let him soak everything up, let him get the experience, let him see the things for himself. So when he gets out there, because he has the veterans around him, he has X around him, he has Ramsey around him, he has a lot of experience. So I understand what you're saying, and I'm with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. But what I feel is this: it would be like the same effect as like the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers effect. You get what I'm saying? I want you to sit there and be the pro. I want you to be the protege. I want you to sit there and watch the old heads like Xavier Howard and Ramsey, 2 of the best in the business. To watch even Cater Kohu, a gentleman that right now is more of a veteran on our team, even though he's in the second or third season. I would like to be that type of player, to be maybe, okay, I want to play, I'm enthusiastic, I want to be out there, don't get me wrong, but I know that I got to take these lessons, and once I'm out there, I got to learn from what I sponged up and what I soaked up from these other players. So I get what you're saying, but nevertheless, you never know. He might play like next week, just like Miss Pam said, or we might be holding him for the right opportune time. And then when we put him out there and he is really ready, that's going to be another problem for everybody. So
one of the things, Dolphin winners, to go along with exactly what you just said, is I trust our coaches. I trust that they know what they're doing. And they've got a handle on what's going on. I'm pretty sure they haven't forgotten about him. And it's either, like you said, there's something we don't know yet, or they've got, a big surprise for everybody. We'll see, right? We'll see.
Real quick, shout out to our boy Ethan Stepp.
Hey,
I'm glad you enjoyed the game. His first game ever.
Yeah.
We went to. And I can't wait to hear the stories from you and Tom and anybody else that was there at the games Sunday.
I'm so glad you got to do that, Ethan.
Shout out to Raphael. He's in the
Raphael
watching. Make sure you all hit the like and subscribe, please.
Hit that like button, y'all. Shoot, hit that like button. That'll help us out. Shoot.
Hit the like and share. Everybody share and subscribe if you're not already. But I think that our team is in great hands.
Yeah, I saw the picture with you and Tom, Ethan. Yes, our team is in great hands. I agree with you. There's a lot going on. There's I still think our defense is still improving.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't maxed out yet, not by any means.
Not by any means.
I mean, I've been watching college closely lately to see about some players that we might look at in the draft and stuff. And the one name that has popped out to me, which is actually a Zach Thomas team, Hutchinson from Red Raiders.
Oh.
Texas Tech Red Raiders. I don't know if I don't remember if he's going to be going in the draft this year or if I think he's only a junior actually, but it's something to keep an eye on. He was balling out when I watched him play.
Yeah, I had a couple of thoughts on
fire.
Players too. Pearsall for one. I don't know if you know who he is, but that guy is a huge wide receiver for Florida. And I mean, half the time he was our offense.
There's
amazing.
There's another receiver on FSU that I think he's 6'7". And I mean, he's a skyrocket.
Yeah.
6'7", all he's got to do is reach up there and he's snagging the ball out of the air.
Yes.
And but there's Raphael saying quarterback Van Dyke. Well, maybe for a backup or something. But
yeah.
I think in actuality, I think right now our backup really is going to end up being Skylar Thompson down the road. As long as he keeps improving and keeps going in with things. He can't play this year unless Mike White gets hurt.
You know how many teams right now wish they had Mike White?
Well, you know how many teams.
Let's take a look.
The Jets,
yes,
where he came from.
Exactly.
A lot of people probably wish they had Skylar Thompson the way he played for us at times.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of teams hurting real bad right now.
Yes, Raphael, I know FSU got shafted and I hate it, but it's politics. And
yes,
that's what it came down to, is freaking politics and money.
Well, I'll say this, depending on how much time Papa Paul and Pam has today, we can actually talk about that at the end of the show.
I have all day.
All right, me too. I mean, I would like to definitely conversate on that. I'm not affiliate to any college football team, so my voice and opinion does matter. I'm going to be very open-minded on this matter. I've never had any affiliate to any college.
I'm an FSU fan, but I try to watch as much as I can, especially the past few years since I've been disabled, just to see what we have up and coming in. Hey, Dolphins Thursday.
Hey.
How you doing, brother?
Hey, Dolphins Thursday.
If you want to join in, I'm going to send you the link privately.
Yeah, put the link up, Papa Paul. Yeah.
Okay.
The way I look at this, and sidebar, we're going to get back to that for 1 second. I want to shout out all the Miami Dolphin fans that traveled to Washington this past weekend. Ooh. I literally was watching the stream. Pam, I wasn't watching your stream. I was watching Paris Love stream on Dolphin Nation 305. And I had my Bluetooth speaker on while I was at work watching the game. And I hear "Let's Go Dolphins" going through my fucking speaker. It was the best thing ever.
I thought the same thing. It was beautiful, right?
Even from the get-go, all you saw was a sea of aqua there.
Oh, man.
I don't know if you heard it. I mentioned it yesterday, that the announcers...
Well, good luck on your final exams, Ethan.
Hey, A++, Ethan. That's what we want.
Man.
We take you to school, Ethan. Get that A+. But one of the things that, first of all, the announcers yesterday is that was like the first time we didn't have announcers that hated the Dolphins.
What's up, Rob?
It's all doing well.
Thursday. Hey,
Pam.
Ben's
hey,
up.
Dolphin winners. Yes, it was great to see all those Dolphins up there. It was crazy. My son looked right before the kickoff, when they talked to the announcers and you see the background. He goes, "Oh my God, I would think if I just didn't know," he follows like me, he knows everything. He goes, "I would think they were playing at home with all those aqua in the background."
That's what a lot of people were saying.
Yeah.
A lot of people were thinking that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those announcers, one of the things they said, and it was so funny, they said that the Dolphin fans outlouded the Washington fans outlouded. So they were laughing. That was so funny. I loved it.
It was great. And on real topic, I mean, I know we're Dolphins, but on the college football, I don't know what your guys' take is. Pam knows I lean with the Gators because my son goes to UF, and I feel like FSU got the short end of the stick. Because if a committee's just going to decide why play the regular season, just say,
Why
okay,
play the
hey,
regular season?
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. I don't care if it's ugly, if whatever. I mean, really? And then you're going to put heat on like, oh, because their quarterback. Then you make that kid Travis feel like it's his fault because he got hurt, that his team did. I mean, to me, the whole reasoning is silly. If they would have got blown out by Michigan, so be it. That they earned the right to be blown out by Michigan, so they earned that right. And I'm sorry, why make rule difference now and all the time ever? If you're a Power 5 school, go undefeated. I know it's about the money, but it's a shame. So I don't even want to hear them talk about.
They wanted Alabama and Nick Saban again.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
of course.
But the funny thing is, like someone said, if Georgia would have beat Bama, they would still find a way to get,
Bama in there.
Yeah, they would still somehow get something. It's just like crazy. They would have find some way to still rule out Florida State. They would have put Texas over Florida State and whatever.
Well, I can tell you right now that there were several games that I watched that Alabama did not win. They were gifted. Alabama is the Philadelphia Eagles of college. I watched Tennessee. I'm telling you, it was so bad.
Oh, they should have lost to Auburn.
Okay, Miss Pam, I love you to death, Miss Pam, and I know you watch the games closely, but I think you watch the refs more than you watch the game.
No, when they affect the game, they're in your face, right? They're in your face.
I know. I'm giving you a hard time.
I know.
You are the one who brings it up more than anybody I know.
Because it's factual. It is so factual. The thing is, like, one thing that was so great about yesterday is they let us play. They let everybody play. They didn't call it this way or that way. It was pretty much
a very clean game on both sides. Very few penalties.
Yes. And it wasn't that I didn't see holding. Yeah, there was some holding, but it was both sides. They called it pretty much. There was one holding call that they called on us that I thought was like, okay, you can't start throwing that flag because you have it.
Pamela loves the safari zebras.
Yeah, yes. I like to put their heads on my wall.
real quick, but Hannah, it's not the last 4 games that will show what this team is made of. It's the last 3 games. Because we got the Titans, then the Jets, and then the last 3 games is Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I mean, good.
There's a good shot the Buffalo game won't mean anything. There's a good chance of that.
No, there's a good chance.
There's a good chance, yes. But it's still, I would hate to lose it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too. We'll see. I mean, it could mean something for seeding or something. We may need to win that game.
But
they may do what we did to New England a few years back.
I look at something else though, and I know what you're going to say. How we pushed Buffalo out of the number 1 seed and stuff. Yeah, but I almost don't want the number 1 seed because we tend to struggle a bit when we have a bye week and stuff. When we come back.
Yeah,
that's a double. That's a double.
I think about the number 1 seed. Both games would be at home, and you only have to win 2 games to get to.
I understand it. I agree with Dolphin winners. It's a double-edged sword.
It is.
It's damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Yep.
Right.
Plain and simple.
I'd rather play at home. I'd rather play at home where we are undefeated at home. We are 18-2 at home.
Yes.
If I'm correct. Let's think about you know, with that being said, that's dominance. And you need that going into the playoffs. If you can sit there and we can take care of what we're supposed to take care of, our last 4 of 5 are at home. If we do what we're supposed to do and win these last 5 games, because I'm going to tell you this, the Baltimore game is just like how Philly just got smacked by San Francisco, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling everybody that I was there. I was there last year. I went through the pain of 3 quarters in almost 5 minutes and then saw one of the most miraculous comebacks in NFL history. So I know the Baltimore Ravens are not sitting there. You think they didn't pencil that game in on New Year's Eve against the Miami Dolphins at home? Did you think that they not pencil that game in? Something's thinking if you didn't think that these men were not waiting for this game. It's the same damn game, the same concept. They are going to sit there and they want blood. They don't want no 3-point or no 7. They want to derail our season. That is going to be the game. The Cowboys, and we got the Cowboys the week before. So we got some games coming up where we control our destiny. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you this: you can't sleep on Tennessee, and you know the Jets are pissed. So every game is going to be right. I'll be honest with you. Our playoffs really start right now. Yeah. Period.
Oh yeah, it's 100%. It's we need to win out. Really,
we got to win out. It's like it would be nice. No, listen, it would be great for us to sit there and not have the Bills game not mean anything. But I don't care what anybody says on this panel. I want to smack the Bills just like they smacked us in their house.
Oh yeah. 100%.
I've been waiting for that. Like you said, penciled it in.
I want to smack them. I want to smack them because we got mollywops, and that's exactly what we did. We went in there confident, arrogant. I don't care what anybody says. I really think we went in there arrogant, like the Bills were going to lay down. The Bills were waiting for us.
Yeah, because when we went in there, everybody was so very lackadaisical on that team that day, and they ran us over.
But the good thing is, our team that day is not the team we are right now. Our defense was not playing that well. We didn't have Ramsey yet. Guys were still kind of learning the Fangio system, not used to it.
And
We got Ramsey
I agree
back.
1,000% with you on that. As I said, Ben saying, I said our defense has gotten better every game this year, and I think it was right after the bye week or right before the bye week. I don't know, but I said it was the best they played.
Yes.
Yep.
Our defense has been rocking and rolling, and even each game since the bye week, the defense still getting better and are being the best they played each game.
Yeah. But no, I know for sure because the Buffalo Bill guys we all know and love, Michael K. He was saying, "Oh, but you beat the Broncos when they weren't that good." And I know the Broncos lost yesterday, so he's gonna bring that up the next time he comes in my room. But he was saying, "Oh, but you beat the Broncos when they weren't very good." But when I said, "Well, you beat the Dolphins when we weren't at it," well, that's different. I'm like, it's the same thing. You can't say.
Oh, exactly.
I was like, come on, Michael K. You got to give me. If you're gonna say we didn't beat the Broncos when they were at their best, you didn't beat the Dolphins when they were at their best.
Exactly.
That's a great point.
It's so funny. I said the same thing Eagles fans here in Philadelphia. I said, when we see you in February, it'll be a completely different game. I said
if they can make it, right? If they can make it, I'm thinking Sam France got their number.
I'm gonna say this to you. I'll say this to you. This is what I'm gonna say, right? I'm just gonna say hypothetically, the Philadelphia Eagles get home field throughout the playoffs through Philly. Okay. Mm-hmm. I say this. Philly will know now that San Fran is not to be fucked with. And Philly will know the next time they face them, it's gonna be a very heavy penalized game. Because they don't
like each other. You saw
they don't like each other. They was pissed.
Even the head of security got kicked out of the game. Our Drew Brooks.
That was so great. I'm so glad they did that. It was fair.
Yeah, they was not. San Fran came in.
And that's not something you usually see in Philadelphia. It's something fair.
But for you to beat Philly, you got to be the bully. You cannot come in here and think you got. And it's sad to be like that. I'm not condoning those type of theatrics. I'm not condoning that sportsman likewise. I'm not condoning all of that. But some way, shape, or form, you gotta be a fucking bully. You gotta be a bully to the bully. And that's exactly what they did. They thought it was partial. They knew if Purdy didn't go out with the injury in an NFC Championship game last year, they had a great chance of beating Philly in Philly. And once that happened, that exactly what's the name? That initiated. They penciled that in. They definitely
and if I can point out something, that I always bring up, of course, the referees, watching Phillies games, obviously, especially the one against us, getting a game like that when we know that they've been gifted so much, you get soft. You could see them out there last night watching that game. You could see them going like, what the heck? They were asking for flags over and over. They're used to getting it. And it's like, you've been gifted games. You haven't actually had to play just another team, So I'm telling you, that kind of stuff comes back to bite you in the butt.
Yes, it most definitely can.
Well, think about this. Philly got the Cowboys next week as well, so they got another one.
Is that in Dallas or
in Dallas?
In Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas will get home cooking.
Yeah, so we're gonna see. But man, the 49ers looked elite yesterday. They looked like the best team. They just put a wally whopping on. They just went in there and beat them.
I said it earlier. I didn't get a chance to see that game because freaking DirecTV is in a contract thing with CBS, and CBS is not playing on DirecTV right now.
Right.
Oh wow.
You can always let me know about that too, Paul. Sometimes I stream other games because people ask me to.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all good. I just look at the highlights and figure it out.
I got some websites. We'll talk about that offline.
Okay.
But yeah, man. But that was a beat down, old fashioned school. I mean, there's other than the first quarter where it was like 6-0 Eagles, and it looked like the Eagles were beating them down and didn't have the big lead. But the 49ers came roaring back. That Purdy kid, it just shows the draft process is. No one knows what they're doing. I don't think they know any better than it. They can. The experts say, a guy that gets picked at the last pick is tearing up the NFL. So it shows that you can find talent out there. And it's just that kid can play some football, man. I know he's on a super talented team, and maybe some other guys could do it too. But man, that team is just humming along right now. And I would, love to see a rematch.
We controlled the game pretty much the whole time yesterday. Even though there was one time that Washington had over, I think, 17 minutes of play, and we only had like 9. But otherwise, we ended up with 32 minutes.
Well, and
I don't hear Paul.
Oh, I heard him. I definitely heard him.
So I don't know what that was.
Stop touching stuff.
I wasn't touching things.
Yes, you were.
Pam, how about a rematch of that 1984 Super Bowl? Miami Dolphins versus 49ers, but with our quarterback this year buying the Diet Pepsi for their quarterback.
Exactly. So, I know. Yeah. I want to see that. And I was going to say something, too, about Purdy. I have had most of the season I've had Howell on one of my fantasy leagues. And, of course, I I drop kicked him out of there because I don't do that. If the Dolphins are playing somebody, I'm not having that guy on my team. So I put Purdy on there. And I mean, Purdy was, projected to get a certain amount of points, and he got well over, I would say, about 40% more points than he was projected. That kid looks good.
No, he does. I mean, he's for real, man. Who knew when we entered Jimmy G, we were actually doing the 49ers a favor in the long run.
I know.
Hey, I'm on here real quick.
Out there watching.
I'm on here real quick before I gotta go back to work. I just wanted to say one thing. What tells me everything about this team is Agba he should be the most grumpiest player on that field. He hasn't had the playing time all year. And when he gets that sack and he shouts out Jalen Phillips, that tells you all you need to know about this team.
No,
that is huge. What a great point.
Yeah, it shows that they are together. They are a family.
Oh, no, you can. Just their interactions on the sideline, just like when you see Waddle go up to the coach and grab him from the back and joke. Can you imagine a guy doing that to Flores? Flores would have probably pushed him to the ground.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm not nothing against Flores. He did okay when I'm just saying it's just to show the difference in the mentality of the team.
It's a very different mentality, and it's huge. Yeah. I know a lot of people want to say that kind of stuff doesn't matter. That's just being soft. They're men. They need to play. Blah blah blah. But when all of us, when we work in a place where, we feel good about who we work with and who we work for, you get more production out of everybody. Yeah. And they're having fun, but they're not being silly either. No. They're having fun, but they are all business. And one thing I have not seen out of them, the entire team all season, is they don't look rattled. I don't care what's going on the field. They don't look rattled.
And not even in the games they get beat down. You're 100%
something you've
right.
never seen either is any type of argument on the sideline whatsoever.
Oh, no.
No.
How many other games have you watched where you seen a receiver arguing with the quarterback or a running back?
That happened the other day. The Tennessee Titans had their own argument yesterday.
Yeah.
That made the round. So it happens, And just,
I saw it with the Jesters.
In the heat of the moment, there can be an argument and stuff.
Sure.
But, it's just.
But you have not really seen that with Miami. And
no, you haven't, man.
I tell you what, Wilkins is one of the biggest jokesters out there, though.
Yeah. Oh, no, he is. He gets under the skin of people for sure.
But he also plays lights out all the time. He's not flaking off. He's setting an example. He's setting a standard. And I can come out here and annihilate people, but I can have fun too.
Yeah. No, he's all out hustle. I point right to the Raiders game this year. Renfro's like running through. I'm saying the whole defense can't tackle, and the defensive tackle comes all the way down the field, and he tackles Hunter Renfro. And I'm like, what other defensive tackle in the league would keep on pursuing in that play? Most of them.
None.
I'm not going to chase him on that play. I'm never going to catch him. He ran all the way down, and he's the one that tackled Hunter Renfro, who was zigzagging through our whole defense. So to me, that won me over right there. It's just he's just always going all out, and it's fun to watch.
Yep.
Well,
and he's improving better too. And a lot of this improvement I put on our coaches and the coaching staff, the hires that we've had in the off season, because these coaches are getting the best out of already very good players, but now they're reaching a higher level.
Look at it's like we were saying last night. We say Eichenberg with a smile on our face, not rolling our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Austin Jackson. It's just there's not a person on here that was not worried about our offensive line in the beginning.
Not a one. Yep.
Yeah.
And the coaches all said not to worry about it, and they proved themselves right.
And isn't that something? Because we're all like, well, why didn't we pick up this person and that person? You know, I mean, it was a big topic of conversation, and to see that they did know what they were talking about. That's why.
Well, what it comes down to is the coaches coach the players, not diminish them, not put them down. They respected them and told them what they needed to do to become the better player that they see in them.
No.
Well, and clearly they're handling it, you know, really well on both sides. You know, the players are buying into the coaches, and the coaches are, like you said, not putting them down. Obviously, there's a lot of respect going on with that team, and they are that a team.
Because I'll be the first one to tell you, I was the first 3 or 4 weeks, I was not happy with the way Fangio's defense was looking.
But it wasn't surprising, though, right? Like, I mean,
I was expecting
straight out.
It was in some ways, because I was expecting more. Because the defense was putting quite a bit on our offense in training camp and everything. So I expected more from our defense when it came to game time.
Yeah. Hey, no, it makes sense, but at least you weren't one of the crazy fans, because we all agreed we wanted Fangio in the offseason. Then we get him. Then a few games in, there was actually some people, we should fire him.
Yes. No,
you weren't that far. I know. You know,
no, I was not that far.
But some people were calling for it. I'm like, guys, give him some
time. I did not like what I saw, as plain and simple.
Yeah.
You know, and he changed my mind. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
We have a defense that is a top 5, if not a top 3 defense right now.
Yes, and I think the stats, you know, it's hard to take stats from all season, because we did have a new defensive coordinator.
If you take the first 4 games out, let's say just the first 4, it'll be a totally different skewing of the stats and everything. With those first 4 games, our defense doesn't seem quite as good as they really are.
Well,
no, I know. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yes, exactly. And one of the things is it wasn't just the new coach. We had players that were successful on defense. Our defense kept us in a bunch of games last year and the year before. The defense was not really our issue so much. So when you look at it, and we were like, well, what the heck is going on? But it was his scheme. It doesn't happen overnight. You know, it took a little bit of time, but
I want to real quick. I just thought about. I want to give out a shout out to OJ McDuffie and his birthday this weekend. You know, he's a great man. I hope he had a great weekend for his birthday. And everybody else who has a December birthday, we appreciate you. I'm sorry you have to get fewer presents on Christmas and stuff because your birthday's in December, but it is what it is.
I gotta shout my sister out. My sister Stacy Winters. She's an Eagles fan, but her birthday is today. So happy birthday, sis!
Happy birthday, sis!
Well, Stacy, you need to rethink your football team, but you have a wonderful brother.
My mom, my sisters, diehard Eagle fans all through their whole life. So that is not happening. Trust.
Well, you know what? I can't fault them for that, because at least they stuck with the team. They're not bandwagon jumpers.
Right.
You know, right. I really appreciate any fan that has been with their team for the decades like we have been.
Yeah.
No matter how good or bad they have been. And like I tell people, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly with the Fins.
Yeah. That's
but
why I'm
I'm a
enjoying
diehard.
this year, Paul.
Oh yeah,
because I've seen them, and I don't care the people that waiting for that other shoe to drop. I always say I've just finally learned I'm going to enjoy the ride. If it ends bad, then I would be down then. But might as well enjoy the ride, not worrying. Oh, but we're going to lose at some point. And I'm like, hey, let's just enjoy the ride while we're going along. Not worry about the ending until the ending gets here. Let's just keep on going out there, watching our guys play, enjoying these games, winning the games that we're supposed to do. I've seen many Dolphins teams not win those games that they're supposed to win, but there's always an overused statement in the NFL. Those guys get paid on the other side no matter who you play, and that's what Tyreek Hill said yesterday. He goes, they're all good too, and they're in the, they're all ultimately. When you're a cornerback in the NFL, you're good. You're not just some guy out there,
Well,
right?
What? And I agree with
Except
you
for Kenny
1,000%
Pickett,
on
maybe.
that. Well, you know what though, Miss Pam, if you're a player on an NFL team, you're a good player. You made the NFL team. You're there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not because they just said, "Oh, well, he's related to so and so."
Yeah.
You gotta make your way onto that team, and if you're on the team, I don't care if you're fourth string. You're on the team. You're a good player.
Yeah, no, if you're in the NFL roster and you're playing, you're definitely a good player. Well said. That's just how it is, man. I mean, that's the best of the best. It's no like, well, that's my son, so he's the starter, even though your kid's 10 times better, but I'm coaching, so my son.
And you know what? It's sad, but in some of these minor league stuff, these peewee leagues and things like that, you see people like that.
Oh no, you do.
Oh 100. Yes.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
100. Yeah, for sure. And I can see both sides because if I'm out there donating all my time, my son Sursek is going to play too. So because that's it. If I don't put him over good players, just say I'm not going to put him at the number 3 spot in the hitting lineup when I know he can't hit the side of the barn at the plate, but he's still going to play. So I give him that. But yeah, but that's how it goes in the youth ones. Unfortunately, it's just how it goes.
Right.
For sure.
Right. You look at all the talented college players that don't make it on NFL rosters. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of very talented people. Sometimes I think people slip through the cracks. I don't know how it happens, but it does sometimes.
They do, but you know what? You look at, and I'm going to say this, we've picked up some UDFAs that have been rocking it.
No, 100%, man. 100%.
Look
at Julian Hill yesterday catching the ball a couple times and stuff.
Well, I mean, I know he's been out. Chris Brooks, though, he was a UDFA.
Yep. Hey, Kader Kofu.
Yes. I mean, we have gotten
him.
Our coaches or our spies, our reps, whatever that are doing the hunting on these people. They've found something in some of these players, and it's turned out to be good for us.
No, they have.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they clean up some bad draft picks. You're like, why did we draft this guy? But then the undrafted free agent beats them out, So
yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, Kader, I mean, I think it was against the Jets that he made a killer tackle. And it was because I was talking about Kader and Howard, how on the defense, they were hitting these guys like it looked like old school hits where they were really hitting them.
Yeah.
And I was like, that got me going right there. It was like, that's what I love to see because I didn't play. There's 2 reasons I didn't play football in high school. One, the coach never asked me to or anything. 2, I didn't like the pads. I played sandlot football. I wanted to feel the hits and the flesh hitting flesh and everything. And so when you hear these hits of these guys hitting the players like you should, it was wonderful. Yeah. What's up, Lewis, my brother?
Hey, Lewis.
Thanks up to all you. Hey, guys, I'm going to have to run. Almost time for me to go do a school run. So I'm going to be out the door. But, Paul, thank you for having me. Let's just enjoy this ride, guys.
Hey, I'm enjoying every bit of it.
Rob.
We appreciate you for joining us, Rob. You have a wonderful day. Give love to those kids, and God bless you, brother.
Thank you, guys. Fins up to you all, man. See you all soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bye, Rob. Fins up.
Peace, love, and fins up, brother.
And all to you in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lewis out there in the chat, we love you, brother. Yeah, it's been a blessed weekend. It's been a blessed week. I've been blessed in ways I was not expecting to be blessed. Hopefully everything works out well. I thank everybody for the condolences from my father and stuff, but it's something we've been expecting, even though it's still hard. It's a wonderful week. We got the Titans coming up. Yeah, Henry may not be there, but we still, like you said earlier, we still got to look out for Swift or is it Swift?
DeAndre, yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to make an announcement, Miss Pam. You got to be on the panel on Wednesday because we have another lady coming on the panel.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Queen.
So we will have the Titans Queen on the show this Wednesday night at 8:45. I know her personally. Her name is Melinda. I actually conversated with her for about a year now.
Nice.
Diehard about her team, and I told her it would be an honor to have her on the show. So, folks, if you guys tune in later on Wednesday night, 8:45, you guys should have a great. It should be a really good show, a really good one. She knows, Pam, the way you are about the Dolphins is the way she is about the Titans.
Oh, so, I love that.
It's going to be a really, really fun show. So definitely, folks, definitely don't forget about us on Wednesday night at 8:45 p.m. as well, because it's going to be a dandy. I can promise you that.
Yeah, Liz.
I'm not wrestling her, Dolphin winners. Don't even think about it. We're not wrestling in chocolate pudding. It's not happening.
Damn. We miss out again, winners.
That's right.
I wasn't saying anything about it. I was like, no.
Hey, she brung it up. It's fair game.
That's what I said. I'm like, I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Yeah, Liz and Raphael, have gun will travel. Yes, I feel like we're in a Western when it comes down to the Dolphins. We're in that gun shoot.
Oh yeah.
Shoot out at OK Corral.
Yeah, buddy, because Tennessee is not going to be. That's not going to be an easy game. I can tell you guys that right now. But we have
well, you know what?
Home.
It's. I'm laughing because of this right here.
Pam,
see, you started something, Pam. No, Tennessee's not going to be an easy game, but I believe in what I was always learned. You give 100%, whether it's in practice, in a game, you give 100%. You got to be prepared for everything. And you got to go out there like it's a Super Bowl in every game. That's the only way you're going to beat the team that people are unbeaten or unbeatable.
Right. We can't let that get in our head. And sometimes with some players, and I'm not speaking of any Dolphin player, but sometimes you see players, you can tell they're in it for something else other than the game, probably the money or the status or whatever they're in it for. But as a competitor, as someone who competed, and I'm competitive about everything pretty much.
I think we all can be competitive in some ways.
Yep. So I don't understand how, players can be a professional athlete and be a competitive, because you are a competitor when you're a professional athlete, but how you can turn it on and off. I don't know how you do that. And the one thing we've seen the Dolphins do is compete. It may not have looked pretty, and sometimes it was downright ugly, and there was some execution that didn't work really well, but it wasn't for lack of effort. And I'm really happy to see that that's what we have on our team. And I feel for people like Derrick Henry because I know he feels kind of defeated. You know, he's been hot and cold this season, and he looks like somebody that's just about ready to give up. And, you know,
I'll say this to you, Pam. That was a great point that you just brought up. I felt like the Miami Dolphins are starting to become a way more physical team that people are not giving credit to. See, they're paying attention to the speed and everything that's going on. They're not paying attention to the physicality that we're hitting. People are not paying attention to Ingold making those holes for Mostert and Achan and Wilson. People are not paying attention to the blocks that the tight end that we had
Smite.
Smite. Not just Smite.
Real quick, if you haven't seen this, Bob Sampson in here.
Yeah, right there, man.
Yep.
Right there. Shout out to
Nice.
the defender himself, my man Bob Sampson. Shout out to him, definitely. I mean, shout out to all those Miami Dolphins, all the Miami Dolphins fans that travel from all over.
We were proud of you, right? We were proud.
I had a smile from ear to ear when I was here at Let's Go Dolphins. I had my coworkers. My coworkers were like, "Aren't y'all playing in Washington?" Like, yeah.
Okay.
Stadium over. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
We're gonna watch something here in a second. It's actually OJ McDuffie and the show they do. These guys are. Screen.
But you had a good point there, Dolphin winners, as well. Like they're not paying attention to how tough our team is. They talk about the speed, the finesse, this and that.
Here we
they're
go,
missing
guys.
out.
Watch these guys, and I think this might be the pick six they're watching. I don't know, but watch these guys go nuts.
Give me that. He's the king.
Oh, that was the pick six.
Six.
Give me that.
It looked just like that here.
He's the king.
I was only one person, not three, but it looked just like that here.
I mean, I love seeing that. That just blew. That's the first time I've seen it, and when I caught it, it just blew my mind. I love it.
I'll tell you this. Yesterday, right before that play, you know, you could tell it was coming, right? And I literally said, "We're getting a pick six," and it happened like 3 seconds later, just like that. It was just something. And you look how ABG was on one side of that field to the other. I'm so proud of that dude. So proud of him.
Oh yeah, yes. I mean, it was incredible, and I had actually said we need another score before the half, right?
Yes.
Before that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was great.
Yeah, it was so. Yesterday, like I said, between the fact that the announcers weren't hating us and the referees weren't being biased and we were playing so well, it was the most fun I've had watching a game in a while. You know, I could just enjoy the game.
You got to think about it. We got to thank that referee from the Philadelphia Eagles Dolphins game, because that was the referee that refereed the Chiefs Packers game last night. So he was the one that helped us last night against with the Chiefs and Packers, with the Chiefs losing last night. So sometimes, you know, we get sometimes the short end of the stick, but other times we get out when we least expect it. So
well, I bet that dude was in trouble. I bet he was in a lot of trouble after that game, you know.
Oh, you know he was.
Well, here's the thing, guys. We're going to continue having that issue over and over again until the NFL decides to hire full-time referees, which they don't want to do because they don't want to pay them benefits. And that's the
But I
reason why.
think it's more than that, though. It's not just lack of knowledge. I don't think they don't know what they're doing. I think they have an agenda. It's clear sometimes referees have an agenda. But as long as they just, if you're a horrible referee, just be horrible on both sides of the ball. I don't care if you're terrible. Just don't be biased. That's the one that gets me.
Vegas will always have a hold of sporting events, period, point blank. And I don't care how you guys feel about it. That's just what it is.
There's the roller coaster.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was a rowboat.
Well, when I first thought, I thought it was like the Jamaican bobsled team.
Oh, you were closer than me.
They did the roller coaster. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The seatbelt, putting on the seatbelt. Christian Wilkins going down the line, putting on the seatbelt. That was so great.
Yeah, it's really quiet here in Philadelphia, and I probably won't be quiet for next week, especially knowing them against the Cowboys.
Let's see what we got here, guys.
Oh man!
Oh, I love it. That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
A sea of aqua and orange, an entire sea. It was beautiful.
Oh, it was magnificent. I mean, and it was crazy. You couldn't
crazy
ask
good
better. Oh yeah.
Definitely. So we talking about this college football thing?
Yeah, bring it on.
Because I'll be honest with you, I've told everybody I watch college basketball. They've had even college basketball kind of messed it up for me when they decided to do the 4 games and before and then the tournament, and I didn't like that. Just keep it 64 teams. And then what it comes down to is I guess they found out that people were learning how to solve the riddle of getting the perfect brackets or whatever that by adding on 2 play-in games to play the 2 teams that get I think the first 2 teams that got the highest, I guess the highest seeding gets the bye or whatever. I don't like all that. It's just too much. But we're talking about football here, and for me, for football, it's always been, why can't they just decide to make divisions with all these different schools and then actually have an actual playoff? Because this right here is they still getting it wrong. People complained about the little schools not getting in. Finally, the little schools get in and they get demolished. So, like, what is the way for me personally? They need to set it up just like the NFL, have conferences, have divisions, and that's because the problem of it is it's just too much money and too much in the TV deals and it's too many hands. That's what it is.
Yes.
If people took their hands out of the effing pot, and we actually could have finally a real, true national champion, instead of having teams that go undefeated like FSU, like other teams that we've seen in the past that have been very deserving of getting in the playoff, but they don't get in. But then you have that team that does get in, and then they get blown out. It's a shit show. It really is. And it's sad because I like watching college football, but I can't take it seriously. I just can't. I cannot. It's too much of a circus. It's like, okay, well, this team went undefeated. Why they're not in the playoff? And then there's a whole bunch of, well, because of this. Well, they beat everybody they were supposed to beat.
But some of those schools, complain over years that they don't get in. We're undefeated. We ought to be in. And they have the ability to change their schedule up and put in some competitive teams in their program to play. So when you cry foul, 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 we see what happened. We saw with the Bullfrogs. I love that. We saw what happened with them. They didn't belong. They straight up didn't belong. They won all their games until their division championship, and they got their butts handed to them and still went on as if they were a top 4 team in the country. But one of the things I think we ought to do is at least have 4 more teams, have 8 teams at the very least, because it's so hard to be in that top 4. And then it comes down to, like what you were saying, Winters, earlier, it comes down to a committee choosing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sad. It's sad that there's just too much money and too much politics, and even with the players getting paid, which I thought that was a great idea, because I think the players should get paid, because if these players get hurt, they lose their scholarship, then they have nothing, and they should get paid. But the problem is now is these kids are still not getting a fair shot to having a chance at a national championship. They got to figure it out. It's just too much. They wanted Saban in. I can't say. I'm sorry, and I don't want to go on a rant about Saban because I don't like Saban. I've never liked Saban, so it's always going to be fuck Saban, especially what he did to the Miami Dolphins and to our fan base. You're going to sit here in front of all these fucking people, so they say you don't know shit, and then you're on a fucking jet landing in fucking Alabama. Fuck you. You fucking lied. You already knew you was going to fucking Alabama in the first fucking place. That's a whole other conversation. But they wanted him in there anyway. I don't know how you can get in there. If I'm correct, they had 2 losses this year or some shit. Like I don't fucking get that. I'm sorry. I don't fucking get it. I mean, I come from the day and age when you lost one fucking game, you was out of the picture. You just wasn't thought of. And the top teams, unless you sat there and was one of those teams to knock off the other team, and then that's when you snuck back in. I mean, but I'm sorry. It's just too much. It's too much. It's the same. It seems like it's the same old circle, the same old team, and the same. Because if Alabama got to be in there, because Alabama's one of those top teams, the top team in the nation. We gotta have them in there. I'm sorry, and no disrespect to any of those young men that have played for that team. It's no disrespect to any of them, because I know I'm on the platform right now. It's no disrespect to them. I don't fuck with y'all coach. I can tell you that. But real shit though, at the end of the day, they got to figure it out. This is just not the way. It's just not. It's going to still be unsatisfiable. It's going to still be question marks. Guys need to come up with a playoff system which consists of, to me personally, 24 fucking teams. And you use the bowl games. You use the bowl games to sit there and have them advance to the actual, real, true playoff. And here's the thing: it's just too much money. They don't want to spend the money, and if it goes that way, yeah, we have football all the way through March. If that's gotta be how it's gotta be, then so fucking be it. At least you're gonna have a definitive champion, because this shit is out of hand. It really is. That's just what it is. That's just my take, guys. I mean,
no, I agree with you 1,000% on that. It's ridiculous. 4 teams does not make a playoff or a championship game, because as we know, any team can beat another team.
Right. No, I really believe personally that I think they're afraid of some of these small teams that come around and beat some of these Power 5 teams. That's me personally. I really truly believe that. I really truly believe that there are some teams out there in the Divisional 2 or Divisional 3 that can sit there and go against a monster team and sit there and humble them very quickly. You know what I mean? I like those games. I like when you see a team from years ago, like an Appalachian State, which they're not a a shocker anymore. They are in the national spotlight, a national name. But you had an Appalachian State coming up and beating a Michigan team or a Kansas team or something like that, where you never thought in a day and age that you would see a team that damn near is like close to Divisional 2 come up and beat a Divisional 1 opponent.
Yeah,
you know,
that was an amazing game.
Oh, I watched it.
The game you're talking about.
I was like, wow. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not a fan of either team. I just like to watch good sports. I like to watch a good game. And that was one of the games I'll never forget. I was kind of sitting there cheering for the underdog because the spread was like literally no exaggeration, ladies and gentlemen. I think the spread was like 35 or 38 points. So they was getting 38 points before they even got on the field.
Yeah.
So to sit there, you spot me 38? Oh, you spotted me 38? Oh, all I gotta do is sit there and actually compete and I win? Man.
What's going on, Chef Jew?
Hey, Chef. Well, one of the things that you brought up just a minute ago was about the bowl games, using them in some type of playoff, because a lot of bowl games have become meaningless. There's players, they don't play, they're out. If we're not playing for the top thing, we're out. And so these, they become kind of ridiculous. I understand why they sit out. A lot of guys are going to the NFL. They don't want to get hurt, but I would have too much pride to sit out a game. You know what I mean? Like my mind isn't made up that way. It is, like you said, Saul, if they use that as part of a playoff thing, those games would have more meaning.
I agree, because that's how I feel. Like my whole thing is the college football, the NCAA has to look at this commitment. This shit is not working. It's not working. It's working in the benefit of the teams that are getting picked. It's because they get that money. Yeah, it works for them.
Well,
it's not.
They could actually have a football playoff almost like March Madness.
Exactly. I agree.
But keep it limited to instead of 32 teams, keep it limited to 16.
Right. I agree. I like that. That's what I'm saying. You do 16. I could do 16. You do 16 of the top teams in the nation. Yep. 16. And I don't mean the top 16 in the Divisional 1. No.
In the nation.
In the nation.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Because it's just like USF down here in Tampa has been in the top teams in the nation before.
And they complained for years not being able to play for the national championship. I remember them being undefeated, 12-0, and not even being considered as a playoff contender or a playoff team. And that's what I'm talking about. At the end of the day,
I agree with you 1,000%. It needs to change. This BS of 4 teams, whoever this committee picks.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you just pick 4 teams from over in Europe, or Canada? Why even bother with the U.S. if you're just going to pick them? Just might as well just draw them out of a hat.
I agree,
but that starts before the season starts. That starts right away. You have a team like USC who has not been a factor in 25 years, and every year they are ranked up in the top 10, top 15, and they're beating out the Pac-12, which I'm sorry, the Pac-12 ain't the SEC. The SEC feeds on itself. We feed on each other. It's a tough conference. There should be some leeway to that. And if you want to be something different, go add a couple of teams to your schedule. Add somebody. Make some noise. Be that team.
Would you guys be opposed to having the way they have to have college football set up where conferences will go against conferences during the season? So you would only play 1 or 2 teams during the season in your conference and then play against a different conference. Would you guys
And
be
how
opposed to it?
smart would that be? How smart would that be? Because then it's not a question. Well, is this conference better? Is that conference better? It's right there. You went against a different conference. Of course you got to have a majority in your conference, but you need to play, somebody top in a different conference. I think that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because I would like to. That's the things that I would like to see. I like to see like conference versus conference and stuff like that. And you do that in the middle of the season. But like I said, it's so much money tied up to these TV deals. And I mean, it's crazy to say this. Let's think about this for a second. I'm not exaggerating if I'm saying this. There are games already set up for like 2030 or some shit. Like, that's insane. Like, I remember watching, this is when I used to watch ESPN religiously. I fell off of ESPN very much so. But I used to watch ESPN religiously, where I would watch in 2017 where they had contracts set up for now. Now, as we speak, in 2023, 2024, 2025, like, we're talking it now right into existence. And it's insane that you can do that. You know what I mean? Because some way, shape, or form, they knew so much of the how the linear standpoint, or how the linear what's the word am I looking for? The whole out point would look, some way, shape, or form. So now I'm to a point where with them, they gotta figure out a way to make it right. Because this is not working. This is 8 games, whatever, how many people committee. It's not working. It sounds like money is being exchanged beforehand. Nobody knows what's going on behind closed doors. Nobody knows what those phone calls are like. Nobody knows that person can have such and such person. Nobody knows none of this stuff. I don't care.
Give a shout out to our girl Kristen Miller's watching on Facebook.
Hey, Kristen.
My CEO of Dolphin Nation 305. What's going on? So definitely, nobody knows. Like, it's just the politics and the shit behind the scenes. We will never ever know. But I tell anybody, I just think like up front, they already got the shit picked out, and that's just what it is. And here it is. And then when the public backlash comes, they just sit there and say, "Hey, we're gonna just collect this money, and you guys are gonna watch it anyway." And it's sad.
Yeah.
But the same thing happens in college that happens in the NFL. And honest to goodness, I see it in a little small town, with Pee Wee. Like, people just can't seem to be fair. The referees, I mean, there has to be some checks and balances for these guys because, I guarantee you, there were at least 2 games that Alabama won specifically because the referees helped them. Absolutely happened. I watched it happen. And it wasn't a call or two. It was blatant. And I see that happen with Ohio State. I see that happen with Michigan. I see it happen with some of these teams. They just get the benefit of lots of calls. And it's not right.
Thinking about this, I think some of this also goes back to the little kids with this whole participation trophy bit.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
We're going to put you in the playoffs because you participated.
Right.
It's almost like.
Yeah.
Don't you dare even think about giving any child, grandchild, great grandchild of mine a participation trophy.
If you're not good enough to hang, go find something you're good at. Everybody's good at something. So,
And, just like my mama always told me, you can do anything you want to if you put your mind to it.
And work for it, right? Like, it just puts mediocrity to the forefront of it's okay, little Johnny, it's okay. You're out there being a flake, but it's okay. You get a trophy. I don't want to be mediocre. I don't want to be around mediocrity. I want people, and you feel better as a person when you work hard for something and you do your best. I mean, That's all you can do. Everything else is up in the air, but work hard at something. Do your best. Put out effort.
That's what every kid needs one. We have so many kids these days out there think they're entitled to things.
Oh my gosh, yes. There's a whole bunch of them that are 40 years old living with mommy and daddy. You think about that. There's some of them, they've never had a job. They don't go to work. My mom and dad owe me for the rest of my life. I'm telling you. And that really is on the parents. You got to cut that crap out.
Oh, yeah.
I busted butts. That's what I did.
Okay, we're going to stay on a little bit long, but I want to get some predictions for Monday night's game.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I'll say my because I want to see. I want to see officially if because we'll get official news definitely from Melinda if Derrick Henry's going to be out next week, because I don't know if it's official yet. I know they're saying he's in the protocol.
You have a right to change it come Wednesday night if you want to. Right now, the way our defense has been playing and stuff, I'm still going to say I'm going to go again with my 35-14.
Shoot, I'll say this. I'll say 38-20.
And I'm going to go a little more over the top. I'm going to say 41-13, that they won't get any more points than we have allowed, the majority of the teams. They're going to be lucky to get that 13.
I like it.
Love it. Like the dogs even agree with you.
Yeah, I heard that. I didn't even know they knew my name, but apparently they do.
Finn just said yes, Miss Pam.
There you go. We all heard it.
I think we're going to go ahead and call it a day for now. Any last words, Miss Pam?
So I just thank you guys so much for the opportunity to be up here. I could talk Dolphin football from morning to night and, not even worry about a sandwich in between. Talking Dolphin football, and I appreciate the opportunity. And
but you gotta have your wine.
Yeah. Not right now, but yeah, later on. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I do. But yeah, so I want to thank you guys, and I love you guys, and all y'all out there in the chat. Thanks for coming in, and peace, love, and fins up, babies.
Peace, love, and fins up, Miss Pam. Winners.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this afternoon and giving us time to sit there and enlighten you with some information and just our opinions on a regular, everyday basis. Thank you, and continue to watch us, and thank you for all the support. Papa Paul, listen, I'm always looking forward to another show. I'm definitely looking forward to Wednesday's show. Like I said, I will have Melinda, aka the Titans Queen, on here with us as our special guest for Wednesday night. Guys, definitely want to tune in for that. It'll be definitely a breath of fresh air to have another fan of another fan base, especially our opponent, for Monday night. So I'm looking forward to that show. Papa Paul, is always a pleasure doing the shows, man. Thank you.
Well, shout out to your brother from another mother, Michael Winters, who popped on here the last minute here. Fins up,
yeah, Mike.
Fins up, brother. I appreciate each and every one of you supporting us with this show. It's a wonderful time, and I thank all of you. And that's about it, really. Just have a blessed day, have a blessed week, and God bless all of y'all. Peace, love, and fins up, everybody.
See you Wednesday.